Hello children, this is the first chapter in your grammar book, subject and predicate. Children, a sentence is the most important grouping of words because it expresses a complete thought. Every sentence has a subject and predicate. In every subject, there is a subject and a predicate. So, what is the basic structure of a sentence? Every sentence has a subject, which is the person or thing that the sentence is about, and a predicate, which is what the sentence says about the subject. The predicate always have a finite verb in it, and this finite verb is the most important word in the sentence. So, in this paragraph, we have learned three things. First, subject. Second, predicate. And third is finite verb. So, what do you understand by subject? The subject of a sentence of what or whom the sentence is about. And in the sentence, like example, the cat is sleeping in the sun. The word cat is the subject. And predicate is the part of sentence or a clause that tells what the subject is doing or what the subject is, right? So, and third is finite verb. Children, in English grammar, a finite verb is a form of a verb that shows agreement with the subject and is marked for tense. If there is just one verb in a sentence, the verb is finite. Finite verbs are sometimes called main verbs also. Right? In the following examples, the subject is highlighted and the predicate is italics. The verb in both italics and in bold black, while the head word is underlined. So, what is the head word? The most important word of the subject is called the head word of the subject, and which is always a noun. See, a dirty dish lay on the floor, right? The dog barked. Note that the predicate may consist of just the finite verb and nothing else. So, I have already told you what are the finite verbs, right? Finite verbs are also sometimes called the main verbs. Similarly, the head word may be the complete subject. Now, parts of the predicate contains noun or noun-like word expressions in the predicate of the sentence are of extreme importance. A direct object of a verb is mostly a thing and answers the question introduced by what. Next, the indirect object of the verb is mostly a person and answer the question introduced by whom. A noun or noun-like word expression which follows a preposition is called an object of an preposition or a prepositional object. For example, the boy showed the little girl an old photograph which he had found in his grey trunk. Now children, what do you understand by prepositional phrase? Here, prepositional phrase is a group of words consisting of a preposition and its object and any words that modify the object. Most of the time, a prepositional phrase modifies a verb or a noun, right? So, in a sentence, the direct object in an old photograph, the direct object is the little girl, and in his grey trunk is the prepositional phrase. Showed what? An old photograph. So direct object. Showed whom? The little girl. Indirect object. As we have seen, a sentence need not have any object in at all. For example, the dog barked, right? If it has a direct object, a finite verb acts transitively. In other case, the verb acts intransitive. Now children, do you know the meaning of transitive and intransitive? Children, transitive verbs means a simple defined as a verb that does not take a direct object. Children, this means that there's no word in a sentence that tells who or what received the action of the verb. While there may be the word or a phrases following an intransitive word, such words and the phrases typically answer the question of how. Now, in case the verb acts intransitively, if the sentence has a direct object, it may have an indirect object. For example, he bought a pen. But if it has an indirect object, then it has to have a direct object. For example, he bought me a pen. Indirect object can be converted into prepositional object. For example, he bought a pen for me. These sentences have an indirect object. The indirect object is an recipient of the direct object. Now, compound subject and predicate. If you have read that the subject in a sentence can be one word, two words or a phrases. Now read these sentences. Gaurav and Shabina go to same school. Right? The bookshelf or the bookcase has to go. Both the dog and the cat are sleeping out in the backyard. Neither the cushions nor the curtains match the couch. Either Kavita or Isha can work on this assignment. In these sentences, the subject are joined by conjunctions or connecting words. When there are two or more subjects in a sentence and they are joined by conjunctions like and, or, both, either, neither, the sentence is said to have a compound sentence. So what we learn from this, when a sentence has two or more subjects, that's called a compound subject, and the individual subjects are joined by a coordinating conjunctions, and the coordinating conjunctions are like and, or, neither. When the subjects are joined by and, the verb agrees with the pronoun. Right? Now, move ahead. Now read these sentences. Gaurav not only plays tennis in the evening but also swims. The cat climbs the tree and sleeps on the branch. In these sentences, the predicate are joined by conjunctions. Climb the trees, sleeps on the branches. These two predicates are joined with a conjunction. When there are two or more predicates in a sentence and they are joined by conjunctions like and, or, both, either, neither, the sentence is said to have a compound predicate. So, compound predicate occurs when the subject in the sentence is doing more than one action and is shared by two or more verbs. These verbs are joined by a conjunctions or a connecting word such as and, or, but. The sentence, the kids climbed and played on the jungle gym. Right? This is the example of compound predicate. Now, types of sentences according to function. So, there are four types of sentences. First is assertive, interrogative, imperative and exclamatory. Now first, declarative